Hey, it is Kristen here, um, talking with you today about asset protection. Like, do you have an LLC? Do you know what an LLC is used for? Do you know how it protects you? Like, those are all topics I'm going to be talking about today. But first off, I want to go ahead and share my screen because I want to talk really quick about um, why I'm why LLCs, right? And why we need to protect our money. So let me share this screen real quick. Okay, so right now we know everyone is paying too much money in taxes. Um, taxes are a huge bill to us. And I want to show you um, if we were just to take an investment, $1 a day, and go ahead and double it for 10 years, at the end of the 10 years, we would have $1,024. But if we keep on going another 10 years, at the end of 20 years, we'll have over $1 million, $1,048,000. And this is if we have no tax, right? Like if our money isn't taxed at all. So this is why I kind of recommend Roth IRAs so much. I know I've been talking with several of you, and I had a client come in last week, and we were talking about it. I'm like, he asked what the difference between traditional and Roth is, and I'm like, well, our money gets to go tax free. We pay the taxes on it now, and then everything gets to go tax free later. And I know it's not really the same topic as LLCs, but I want to show this to you real quick. So what happens if we were just to pay a 15% tax? And that's really not a lot because like there's sales tax, there's federal income tax, there's Social Security and Medicare tax, there's franchise tax. Like there's so many different taxes out there. 15% of that is actually a very low end. So if we were just to pay 15% tax on this money that we're trying to build and to build our wealth, right? We would be paying over $220,000. That's like almost a quarter of $1 million on this over $1 million. So we're only left with like $750,000. Like if we're getting taxed at the low tax rate of 15%. So everyone's like, well, the government's taking my money. Well, really, the long-term effect is that you never accumulate significant wealth because you never had enough money working for you to begin with. Um, so I just kind of wanted to talk about that real quick. Um, and there's another thing that we need to consider with asset protection. Like it's about keeping our money and our wealth, right? Um, so there's litigation, there's court cases out there. Everyone is sue happy now, but it's not just that we're getting sued, it's the amount of money that people are winning in these court cases. So this is back from 2013. This 13-year-old girl was awarded $150 million in a wrongful death case. I mean, it was a really bad story. Her parents died. In a crash. But I mean, if this was you and you had to pay $150 million in a lawsuit, you would never recover from that. And that girl could have easily, 1 or 2 million would have kept her good for a long time and got her going until she was able to start working and got her through school and everything. So these court cases are getting, what they're winning is kind of ridiculous, right? Like they don't need that much money, and the people who have to pay it, like they'll just never recover. So what I really want to talk with you today is about LLCs. So what can we do? We can create an LLC for our business. That is like the number one first thing that I recommend people doing if they are going to have a business. I also do not recommend that you create your own LLC. I know they're super easy to create, but if they're not set up the right way, they're not going to protect you against the lawsuits I just talked about. So the first thing, there's 4 things that you need with an LLC to get started. The first one is articles of organization. Like basically whatever state that you're operating in, you go to the state and you can open up an LLC pretty dang easily, ask you a few questions, and that part, it is easy, right? The fee will depend on the state that you're in. I know in the state of Texas, it's $300, a one-time fee. I know in the state of California, it's like a $900 fee every single year that you have an LLC. So the fees differ depending on the state that you're in. Some states require you to have the LLC in the state that you're operating in, or that you own, say, real estate in or whatever. And Texas is one of those. So if you own a rental house in Texas, I recommend that you have it in an LLC in the state of Texas. That will protect you. Other states, ours is like one of 18 states that you have to have it in the state that you're required. There are, 30 some other states that you can actually have the LLC in a different state, and it might help you out. I am not that person to be able to guide and direct you on that. I can get you with the law firms that I recommend you work with that know all the laws and the regulations on that. Okay, the next piece that I need to talk with you about is actually very, very, very important. This is the part that people get wrong or don't have at all. Well, actually, it's EIN. EIN is very easy. You get it from the Fed. You just go to irs.gov website. You apply for it. That's on a federal level. That's easy. The next one's is difficult. So operating agreement. It's basically the guts of your LLC. A proper operating agreement will have at least 6 pages, sometimes even more. And what it's basically saying is, what does your LLC do? Like, what type of work do you do? How is it managed? Who's making the decisions in it? How do you get rid of an owner? What happens if you have partners and death is involved, or drugs or is involved, and divorce? Like, what happens in all that situations, especially if there's a partnership? And a lot of times partners are like, oh, that's my best friend, that's my sister, nothing would ever go wrong. Well, and a lot of times people say the money doesn't matter. Well, the money doesn't matter when there is no money, but when there actually is money, it does matter to people. And so that's why the operating agreement is so, so important. What type of calendar year do you run on? Do you run on a calendar year, or do you run on a fiscal year? How are you taxed? Are you filing for an S Corp election? And most importantly, how is your LLC protected? That is the most important thing. And what happens if your partnership doesn't work out? Like, all this stuff, especially if you're getting into a partnership, but all of these items need to be addressed and thought out very carefully, and they need to be in the operating agreement. Have an attorney draw up a proper operating agreement to you for your company. And you need one for every single LLC company that you have, not just a one and done, right? And then there's one thing that's kind of important. Basically, the law is words. So you need to have the correct words in your operating agreement. If you have the right words in your operating agreement, you win. If you have the wrong words used in your operating agreement, you're going to lose. And also, it can help you keep your tax exemption, like if you have that. This is just the most important part of the LLC. And sometimes I ask clients and they don't even have an operating agreement. Like, at least get yourself an operating agreement. And then the very last thing is, you need to have a registered agent service for your LLC. It's required by law, and basically what it is whoever is going to be a registered agent, they need to be open, have an office be open Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. They need to be able to get your mail from you. Like, they need to have a phone number, a fax number, and a physical address, and they're going to be getting any legal documents that come to you. They must also notify you of renewal every single year. And the most important thing is that they're going to be on public record for all of your information. That's what's going to show up when people are searching for your business name, is whoever your registered agent is, that address is going to show up. So it doesn't make sense to be your own agent if you want privacy. So if you definitely want privacy, you should get yourself a registered agent. That's not yourself. You can be your own registered agent, but if you care about privacy, I recommend that you don't be your own registered agent. And this should be a service that you can get for about $100, $120 a year. That's all you should be paying for it. If you need recommendations on that, let me know. All right, that is everything that I have on like asset protection kind of, and it's just a short overview, but I really wanted to touch in on LLCs today to make sure that you have those items, those 4 items I just talked about. Thank you. If any of this you have questions on, please reach out to us and we will help you the best that we can and get you in contact with the lawyers that we recommend basically. Thank you.